Welcome to Bedtime Historia. Tonight, we're not just telling a story. Tonight, you'll step into someone else's life, not for excitement, not for drama, but for peace. You'll walk through quiet villages, breathe in the scent of rain on old wood, feel the weight of a wooden sword in your hand, and hear the wind whispering through bamboo trees. This is the life of Miyamoto Musashi, a man remembered for his skill with the blade, yes, but also for his solitude, his discipline, and his search for inner calm. And tonight, that journey becomes yours. If you're comfortable, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Bedtime Historia, and if you feel like sharing something small and gentle with us, leave a comment below with where you are right now, and what time it is where you live. Just a few words, maybe even half asleep when you write them, but somehow, we'll all be here together, in our own quiet moments. Now, if you can, lower the lights just a bit more. Put your phone aside, somewhere safe and still. Let your body sink into your chair, or your pillow, or wherever you've made yourself comfortable. If you'd like, close your eyes. There's no need to watch, only to listen, and to rest. Let's begin. Part 1. The first steps on the warrior's path. You wake up to silence. There is no alarm clock, no buzzing phone, no rush to get anywhere. Just the soft hush of morning settling over the world like a warm blanket. The sky outside is still pale with the color of early dawn, and the only sound is the occasional rustle of leaves in the breeze. You lie there for a moment, feeling the weight of your body sink gently into the futon beneath you, listening to the rhythm of your own breath. It's slow, steady, calm, just like the world around you. Outside, somewhere not too far away, a rooster calls out, its voice echoing through the quiet village nestled between the hills. That sound doesn't startle you, it welcomes you. It tells you that another day has begun, not with urgency, but with grace. You stretch your arms above your head, feeling the gentle pull of your muscles waking up, and slowly sit up. The floorboards creak softly under your movement, as if they too are still waking from their night-long rest. You rise to your feet and walk to the window. The shutters are closed, but you can feel the light pressing gently against them, asking to be let in. You slide them open, and the morning air flows inside, crisp and clean, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and distant pine trees. A thin layer of mist clings to the fields below, wrapping everything in a soft, silver glow. The world feels still, as if it is holding its breath, waiting for you to take the first step into the day. You wrap a simple robe around your shoulders and step outside. The ground is cool beneath your bare feet, and the grass near the porch sways slightly in the breeze. You take a deep breath in, filling your lungs with the freshness of the morning, and exhale slowly, letting go of anything that might try to cling to your mind. There is nothing to do now but be here, in this place, at this time, in this life. You make your way to the small wooden basin near the side of the house and pour water from a nearby bucket into it. The water is cold, but not unpleasantly so. You cup your hands together and bring the water to your face, letting it run down your cheeks, waking you up in the gentlest way possible. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the coolness settle into your skin, then dry your face with a cloth hanging nearby. As you turn back toward the house, the sun begins to rise behind the mountains, casting long shadows across the yard. The light touches the edges of the trees, the roof tiles, the wooden beams of your home. Everything seems to glow just a little more in this early light. You step inside and move toward the hearth, where a small pot of rice sits ready for the morning meal. You light the fire carefully, watching as the flames dance quietly beneath the pot, sending a soft warmth through the room. While the rice cooks, you reach for a small clay cup and fill it with tea, already steeped and waiting patiently. You hold the cup in both hands, feeling its warmth seep into your palms, and bring it to your lips. The taste is earthy, soothing, familiar, like an old friend offering quiet comfort. There is no rush today. No meetings to attend, no messages to reply to, no deadlines looming over your head. There is only this quiet kitchen, this warm cup, this peaceful morning unfolding around you like a painting slowly coming to life. And somehow, even though the world beyond these walls may be vast and uncertain, right now, everything feels exactly as it should. After eating, you fold the cloth napkin neatly beside your bowl and rise to your feet once more. The house feels empty, but not lonely. It holds memories, yes, of laughter, of conversations, of footsteps passing through, but today, it belongs entirely to you. You move through each room with care, touching the wooden beams, glancing at the scrolls hanging on the walls, pausing by a small altar where incense smolders quietly in a bronze holder. You light a stick of incense and watch as the smoke curls upward, disappearing into the soft light of the morning. You kneel before the altar for a moment, not in prayer, but in gratitude, for this space, for this life, for the quiet beauty of simply being alive. Then you rise again, stepping back into the sunlight streaming through the doorway. The day stretches ahead of you, not filled with tasks or obligations, but with possibilities, small, gentle ones. Perhaps you will walk to the river later, or spend some time practicing with your wooden sword beneath the shade of the maple tree. Or maybe you'll simply sit beneath the eaves of the house, watching the clouds drift lazily across the sky, letting your thoughts come and go like birds flying overhead. There is no pressure to choose. Whatever you decide will be enough. Because here, in this life, presence matters more than productivity. Stillness matters more than speed. And peace, the kind that settles deep into your bones, is not something you chase after. It simply is. You take one last look around your home before stepping off the porch and onto the dirt path that winds through the village. Your sandals are worn but comfortable, fitting your feet like old companions. With each step, the earth responds, soft, solid, grounding. You pass by other homes, some still dark, others beginning to stir with signs of life. A child laughs somewhere in the distance, and a woman steps outside to sweep her porch, her movements graceful and unhurried. This is not a life built on spectacle. It is not loud or fast or flashy. It is simple, rooted, deliberate. And yet, in its simplicity, there is depth. In its slowness, there is richness. And in its quiet, there is something sacred, something worth holding close. You keep walking, the path leading you past fields where farmers begin their work, past a small shrine tucked beneath the roots of an ancient cedar tree, past the edge of the forest where the wind moves through the branches like a whispered song. You breathe in deeply, feeling the cool morning air fill your lungs, and smile, not because anything extraordinary has happened, but because everything ordinary feels just a little more beautiful today. And as you walk further into the day, the path ahead remains soft, unmarked, inviting. Not because you're going anywhere in particular, but because sometimes, just moving forward, slowly, peacefully, with intention, is enough. So we continue together, step by step, into the heart of this quiet morning. As you walk, the rhythm of your steps begins to feel like a kind of meditation. Each footfall is soft against the earth, not rushed, not forced, just a gentle meeting between body and ground. The air carries the scent of wood smoke from distant hearths, mingling with the crispness of morning dew still clinging to the grass. It is a smell that feels familiar, even if this is your first time breathing it in, as though some part of you has always known this place, or perhaps has always longed for it. You pass beneath the shade of a large willow tree, its branches swaying gently in the breeze like fingers tracing invisible patterns in the air. A small wooden bench rests at its base, worn smooth by years of use. You pause here, not because you need to rest, but because something about this spot invites stillness. You sit down, feeling the coolness of the wood beneath your hands, and let your gaze drift toward the horizon where sky meets land in a quiet embrace. There is no hurry here. No clocks ticking, no voices calling your name, no demands pulling you forward. There is only the present moment, deep, full, unhurried. You close your eyes for a moment and listen. The rustling leaves above you, the distant call of a bird, the faint murmur of a stream winding its way through the valley below, all of it blends into a soft symphony of peace. And as you listen, you feel something inside you settle, like dust slowly sinking after a long wind. You open your eyes again and notice how the light has changed slightly. The sun has climbed higher now, casting longer shadows behind the trees, painting everything in a golden hue that feels almost sacred. You rise slowly, brushing your hands lightly against the worn surface of the bench before stepping back onto the path. Your journey continues, not because you must go somewhere, but simply because movement feels natural, even comforting. The path leads you toward the forest's edge, where the trees stand tall and silent, their trunks thick with age. The canopy above filters the sunlight into soft beams that dance across the forest floor. You step into the shade, feeling an immediate shift in temperature, cooler, quieter, more intimate. The sounds around you change too. The wind moves differently here, whispering secrets through the leaves, and your footsteps seem to carry less weight, as if the forest itself encourages silence. You move slowly, deliberately, allowing yourself to notice each detail. The texture of the bark beneath your fingertips, the soft crunch of fallen leaves underfoot, the occasional flicker of movement as a small animal darts between the roots. There is life all around you, but it does not demand attention, it simply exists, quietly, patiently, beautifully. A narrow stream appears ahead, its waters flowing gently over smooth stones. You approach it carefully, kneeling at the bank to dip your hands into the cool current. The water is clear and fresh, carrying with it the scent of moss and earth. You cup it in your palms and bring it to your lips, drinking slowly, letting the coolness spread through your throat and chest. It feels nourishing in a way that goes beyond the physical, like a quiet blessing from the land itself. As you sit there beside the stream, watching the water move with effortless grace, a thought passes through your mind: this is what peace feels like. Not the absence of noise, not the escape from responsibility, but the presence of stillness within yourself. A deep knowing that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you are exactly where you are meant to be. You remain there for a while, not counting the minutes, not worrying about what comes next. Time feels different here, stretched out, softened, made gentle. Eventually, you rise once more and continue along the path, leaving behind only the faintest trace of your presence. The forest opens up ahead, giving way to a wide field bathed in sunlight. In the distance, a lone figure tends to a small garden, moving with quiet purpose. You watch for a moment, not intrusively, but with appreciation, for the beauty of someone living fully in the rhythm of their own life. You do not speak, nor do you approach. Sometimes, simply witnessing another person's peace is enough. You find yourself walking again, crossing the field with slow, measured steps. The grass brushes against your ankles, cool and soft, and the warmth of the sun settles gently on your shoulders. You feel lighter somehow, as if the very act of walking through this landscape has helped you release something you didn't realize you were holding. Eventually, the path curves toward a small wooden bridge spanning another stream, narrower than the last, but just as peaceful. You cross it slowly, listening to the creak of the old wood beneath your feet, feeling the subtle sway of the structure as it holds you safely above the water. On the other side, a short stretch of open land leads you back toward the village, but you don't rush. You allow yourself to linger, to take in the view one last time before returning to the world of people and homes and daily life. As you walk, you begin to notice the small signs of the day unfolding around you. Smoke curls lazily from rooftops, the scent of cooking rice and miso soup drifting through the air. A group of children run past, laughing, their sandals slapping softly against the dirt road. An elderly man sits outside his home, sipping tea and watching the world go by with calm, knowing eyes. This is the rhythm of the day, not fast, not loud, but steady, grounded, full of meaning in its own quiet way. And as you step back into the heart of the village, you carry with you the stillness of the morning, the gentleness of the forest, and the quiet joy of simply being alive. So we walk together, step by step, deeper into the life you are living now. Part 2, Between Bamboo Trees and Autumn Wind. The path leads you away from the village once more, though this time, your steps feel different, not like a departure, but like a return. You are walking not to leave something behind, but to find something familiar that has been waiting for you all along. The morning air still carries its crispness, but now there is a new softness in it, as if the world itself has shifted slightly, welcoming you into another rhythm. You follow the road until it narrows into a dirt trail, flanked on both sides by tall grasses swaying gently in the breeze. A few birds call out from somewhere above, their voices light and unhurried, blending with the rustling leaves and the distant murmur of water flowing over stone. There is no rush here, only movement, slow, steady, natural. As you walk further, the trees begin to change. The broad oaks and maples give way to slender trunks, their branches reaching skyward in quiet elegance. And then, without warning, you step into a grove of bamboo, tall, graceful, swaying like dancers caught in a gentle wind. The sound they make is unlike anything else, a whispering hush, like the world itself is breathing softly beside you. You pause at the edge of the grove, letting your eyes adjust to the play of light filtering through the dense stalks. Sunbeams slice through the green canopy, casting shifting patterns onto the forest floor. The air feels cooler here, shaded and still, yet alive with motion as the bamboo bends and sways with every breath of wind. You take a step forward, then another, and soon you are walking beneath the towering stalks, surrounded by their quiet presence. Each footfall is cushioned by the soft earth, and the only sounds are those of nature, the creaking wood, the rustling leaves, the occasional flutter of wings as a bird takes flight above. There is something deeply peaceful about being here, among these ancient plants that have stood long before you arrived and will remain long after you leave. They do not speak, yet they offer a kind of wisdom, one that does not come from words, but from simply existing, rooted and unshaken. You reach out and touch one of the stalks, feeling its smooth surface beneath your fingertips. It is cool, solid, grounded. You lean against it for a moment, closing your eyes, listening. The wind moves through the grove like a song, low, rhythmic, soothing. It does not demand your attention, but invites you to stay. And so you do. You breathe in slowly, filling your lungs with the scent of damp earth and fresh leaves. You exhale just as gently, releasing whatever tension may have found its way into your body during the day. There is nothing to do here but be present, to listen, to feel, to rest. As you stand beneath the bamboo, a thought passes through your mind. This place was not built for excitement or spectacle. It exists quietly, without fanfare, offering peace to anyone who walks through it with an open heart. And somehow, that makes it even more beautiful. You continue deeper into the grove, following a narrow path that winds between the tall stalks. The sunlight shifts as you move, sometimes spilling across the ground in golden pools, other times disappearing entirely beneath the thick canopy. Time feels different here, stretched out, softened, made gentle. Eventually, you reach a small clearing where the bamboo opens up slightly, revealing a patch of sky above. In the center of this space stands a wooden bench, weathered and worn, yet sturdy. You approach it slowly, not because you are hesitant, but because something about this place asks for reverence. You sit down, feeling the coolness of the wood beneath your hands. Before you, the grove stretches outward in all directions, a sea of green swaying gently in the breeze. You let your gaze settle on a single stalk near the edge of the clearing, watching how it bends and straightens with each gust of wind. It does not resist the movement, it simply goes with it, trusting that it will always find its way back to stillness. There is a lesson in that, isn't there? You close your eyes again and let yourself sink into the moment. The world beyond this grove feels far away now, distant, almost dreamlike. Here, there are no distractions, no demands, no urgency. Only the quiet hum of life unfolding around you. A soft breeze brushes past your face, carrying with it the faintest scent of pine and moss. You tilt your head slightly, allowing the warmth of the sun to touch your skin. It is not harsh, not demanding, just enough to remind you that you are alive, that you are here, that you are safe. You remain like this for a while, not thinking, not planning, not wishing for anything to be different. You simply exist, in harmony with the world around you. When you finally rise from the bench, it is not because you are done resting, but because something within you knows it is time to keep moving. You take one last look at the clearing, committing it to memory, not as a place you must return to, but as a part of you now, carried wherever you go. As you walk back through the grove, the same soft sounds surround you, the rustling bamboo, the whispering wind, the occasional chirp of a hidden creature. You move with ease, your steps lighter than before, as if the grove has given you something unseen, a quiet strength, a gentle clarity, a deep sense of calm. The path begins to slope downward slightly, leading you toward the edge of the forest. Through the gaps in the trees, you can see glimpses of open land ahead, fields bathed in afternoon light, the rooftops of homes nestled among the hills. But you do not rush toward them. Instead, you allow yourself to linger in this in-between space, where the forest meets the world beyond. You take one last deep breath, filling your lungs with the scent of earth and wood and leaf, and exhale slowly. Then, with steady steps, you walk forward, leaving the grove behind, yet carrying its peace with you. So we continue together, step by step, deeper into the quiet beauty of this journey. As you leave the grove behind, the world opens up in a way that feels both familiar and new. The trees thin out, giving way to rolling hills bathed in golden afternoon light. A soft breeze moves through the air, carrying with it the scent of dry grass and distant wood smoke, a quiet reminder that life continues, gently and steadily, all around you. You walk at your own pace, neither fast nor slow, simply moving with the rhythm of your breath. The path beneath your feet is worn smooth by time and use, lined with small stones and patches of moss that speak of many footsteps passing this way before yours. Each step feels grounded, purposeful in its own way, even if there is no particular destination calling to you today. To your left, a narrow stream winds its way through the landscape, its surface catching the sunlight in soft glimmers. You glance toward it, not with urgency, but with appreciation, for the way the water flows without resistance, always finding its way forward. There is something peaceful about watching it move, as if it knows something you are only beginning to understand. The wind shifts slightly, brushing against your skin like a whisper from the land itself. It carries with it the sound of leaves rustling in the distance, the occasional call of a bird circling above, the faint murmur of life unfolding in its own quiet rhythm. Nothing here demands your attention, yet everything invites you to stay present, to listen, to feel. You follow the path as it curves gently to the right, leading you past a small wooden gate that marks the edge of a field. Beyond it, rows of rice plants stretch toward the horizon, their green stalks swaying softly in the breeze. Farmers move between them with careful steps, their movements unhurried, deliberate, each one part of a cycle that has repeated for generations. You pause just outside the gate, watching for a moment. No one looks up, no one calls your name, and yet there is no sense of exclusion. Instead, there is a quiet understanding that everyone here is living their own version of peace, each in their own way. Some work with their hands deep in the soil, others carry baskets filled with fresh herbs or bundles of dried straw. The sun rests lightly on their backs, warm but not harsh, offering its presence without demanding anything in return. You take a few steps closer, feeling the earth shift slightly beneath your sandals. The scent of wet earth rises to meet you, rich and grounding. You close your eyes for a moment and breathe in deeply, letting the stillness of this place settle into your chest, filling the spaces where tension might have once lived. There is no rush here. No need to do more, be more, go more. Only the simple act of being, standing beneath the sky, surrounded by life, held gently by the world. When you open your eyes again, the sun has begun its slow descent, casting long shadows across the field. The light takes on a softer hue now, golden and warm, wrapping everything in a quiet glow. You watch as one of the farmers straightens his back, stretching slowly, then lifts his face to the sky as if greeting the evening with gratitude. A gentle smile touches your lips. You continue walking, leaving the field behind but carrying its calm with you. The path narrows again, winding through a patch of wildflowers that sway gently in the breeze. Their colors are muted, soft purples, pale yellows, faded whites, yet they feel alive in a way that doesn't need brightness to prove it. They bloom quietly, unnoticed by most, yet they are still beautiful. You reach out and brush your fingers against one of the petals, feeling its delicate texture beneath your touch. It does not seek to impress, nor does it ask for recognition. It simply exists, rooted in the earth, reaching for the sun in its own quiet way. And somehow, that feels like enough. The wind grows slightly stronger now, moving through the tall grasses with a hush that sounds almost like a lullaby. You lean into it slightly, letting it guide your steps forward. There is no urgency, no pressure, only movement, steady and calm. In the distance, you see the outline of a small shrine nestled among the roots of an ancient cedar tree. Its roof is worn with age, its red paint faded, yet it stands strong, a quiet guardian of time and memory. You feel drawn to it, not because you must visit, but because something within you recognizes the invitation to rest. You approach slowly, stepping carefully over the uneven ground. The shrine sits upon a low stone platform, surrounded by offerings of fresh flowers and small bowls of rice. A bell hangs near the entrance, its rope swaying slightly in the breeze, though no one has rung it today. You kneel before the shrine, not in prayer, but in stillness. Your hands rest lightly on your thighs, your breath slows, and for a moment, the world feels impossibly quiet. There is nothing to say, nothing to ask for, only the simple act of being present, of honoring the space between moments. A leaf drifts down from above, landing softly beside you. You do not move to brush it away. Instead, you let it remain, a quiet companion in your stillness. After some time, you do not know how long, you rise again, pressing your palms together briefly before bowing your head in silent respect. Then, with the same gentle grace that brought you here, you turn and begin walking once more. The path leads you toward the base of a hill, where the land slopes upward in a slow, steady incline. At the top, a lone maple tree stands, its branches stretching wide as if welcoming the sky itself. You make your way toward it, your steps unhurried, your heart lighter than it was when you began this journey. As you reach the crest of the hill, the view unfolds before you, a vast stretch of countryside bathed in the soft light of the setting sun. Fields roll gently into the distance, rivers carve quiet paths through the valleys, and smoke curls lazily from rooftops far below. It is a sight that does not demand admiration, but offers comfort, like a story told in whispers, meant only for those who are willing to listen. You sit down beneath the maple tree, leaning your back against its sturdy trunk. The bark presses gently against your shoulders, grounding you in this moment. You close your eyes and let the world settle around you. The wind moves through the leaves above, a soft rustling that feels like the world breathing beside you. You match your breath to its rhythm, slowing, softening, releasing. Part 3, Days at the Temple. The path leads you away from the hilltop and into a quiet valley where time seems to move differently. The air is cooler here, carrying with it the faint scent of incense and old wood. You walk slowly, your steps softened by the earth beneath your feet, as if the land itself invites you to move with care, with reverence. In the distance, nestled between two gentle slopes, you see the outline of a temple, simple in form, yet timeless in presence. Its roof is curved at the edges, painted in soft hues that have faded with years of wind and rain. A small wooden gate marks its entrance, standing quietly beneath the shade of an ancient cedar tree whose branches stretch wide like welcoming arms. You approach without urgency, feeling the stillness around you deepen with each step. There are no bells ringing, no voices calling out, only the soft rustling of leaves in the breeze and the occasional chirp of a hidden bird. It feels as though the temple has been waiting for you, not with expectation, but with quiet acceptance. As you pass through the gate, a sense of calm settles over you like a familiar blanket. The courtyard before you is open and peaceful, lined with stone pathways that wind gently toward the main hall. Patches of moss grow along the edges of the stones, soft and green, as if nature itself has taken care to cushion every step that passes this way. You remove your sandals carefully and place them near the side of the path, just as others have done before you. Your bare feet press lightly against the cool surface of the stone, grounding you in this moment. There is no rush here, only movement that follows the rhythm of breath, of thought, of stillness. To your left, a small garden unfolds. Neatly arranged stones rest among carefully raked gravel, their surfaces worn smooth by time. Delicate plants curl upward in quiet growth, their leaves catching the afternoon light in soft glimmers. You pause beside the garden, watching how the wind moves through the grasses, shaping them gently like waves upon a quiet shore. There is something deeply meditative about this space, not because it demands silence, but because it offers it freely. You feel yourself breathing more deeply now, your shoulders easing, your mind settling into a state of quiet awareness. A soft chime rings somewhere nearby, not loud enough to startle, but clear enough to remind you that time continues forward, even in places where it feels suspended. You follow the sound toward the main hall, where a few monks sit in quiet meditation beneath the eaves. Their postures are relaxed, their eyes closed, their breathing slow and steady. You do not disturb them. Instead, you find a quiet spot nearby and settle onto a wooden bench, letting your hands rest lightly on your lap. Around you, the world remains still, not empty, not silent, but filled with a different kind of presence. One that does not need words to be understood. From somewhere deeper within the temple grounds, the scent of burning incense rises gently into the air. It is subtle, earthy, grounding, a fragrance that carries with it centuries of practice, of devotion, of peace. You close your eyes and breathe it in, allowing it to settle deep within your chest. There is no need to think too much here. No need to remember or forget, to plan or worry. There is only the present moment, stretched out and softened, like a long evening bath warming your body from the inside out. You listen to the sounds around you, the distant creak of wooden beams adjusting to the cooling air, the soft murmur of wind moving through the trees, the occasional flutter of wings as a bird lands briefly on a nearby branch. These sounds do not distract you, they guide you further inward, into a space where nothing needs fixing, nothing needs changing. You remain like this for a while, simply being. Not doing, not achieving, not striving, just existing in harmony with the quiet life unfolding around you. Eventually, one of the monks rises from his seated position and walks slowly toward a small wooden basin near the edge of the courtyard. He fills a clay kettle with water from a nearby well and returns to a small stove built into the stone wall. With practiced ease, he lights a fire beneath the kettle and waits in silence as the water begins to warm. You watch him move, not with curiosity, but with appreciation. His actions are unhurried, deliberate, full of grace. There is no rush to complete anything, only the simple act of preparing tea, a ritual repeated countless times across generations. When the water begins to steam, he pours it carefully into a set of small cups resting on a tray. Then, with quiet purpose, he walks toward you and places one of the cups gently on the bench beside you before sitting down a respectful distance away. You reach for the cup slowly, feeling its warmth spread through your fingers. The tea inside is dark, fragrant, inviting. You lift it carefully to your lips and take a small sip. The taste is rich, smooth, grounding. It spreads through your body like a quiet warmth, settling deep into your bones. You do not speak. Neither does the monk. Words are unnecessary here. Instead, there is understanding, a shared recognition of peace, of presence, of the beauty found in simple moments like this. After some time, he rises again and bows slightly before returning to his meditation. You remain where you are, cradling the warm cup in your hands, watching as the last rays of sunlight slip behind the hills, casting the temple grounds into a soft twilight. The sky above turns from gold to lavender, then to a deep indigo. Stars begin to appear, small pinpricks of light scattered across the vast darkness. A lantern flickers to life near the entrance of the hall, casting a warm glow that stretches gently across the courtyard. You finish your tea slowly, savoring each sip as if it were the last. When the cup is empty, you place it back on the tray and lean your head back slightly, gazing up at the night sky. And as the first hints of sleep begin to brush against the edges of your consciousness, you feel a deep sense of gratitude, not for grand things, not for achievements or accomplishments, but for this quiet evening, this peaceful place, this life you are living now. So we rest together, beneath the stars, carried gently by the hush of the night. The night deepens around you, wrapping the temple grounds in a hush that feels almost sacred. The stars above are brighter now, scattered across the sky like tiny lanterns lighting your way through the quiet hours. A soft breeze moves gently through the courtyard, carrying with it the faint scent of pine and moss, a quiet reminder that nature is still awake, even as the world slows down. You remain seated beneath the eaves of the hall, letting the cool air settle against your skin. There is no rush to move, no need to go anywhere else. Here, in this moment, everything feels complete, not because something has been finished, but because you are simply present, allowing yourself to be held by the stillness of this place. A monk walks past you quietly, his steps barely making a sound against the wooden floor. He carries a small lantern in one hand, its glow casting a soft circle of light around him as he makes his way toward a side room. You watch him disappear into the dimly lit space, and for a moment, you feel as though time itself has paused, stretching out and becoming something vast, unhurried, infinite. You close your eyes again and listen. The occasional rustle of leaves, the distant call of a night bird, the gentle creaking of old wood adjusting to the cooling air, all of it blends together into a quiet symphony of peace. It does not demand your attention, nor does it try to entertain you. Instead, it offers a space where you can simply be, without expectation, without effort, without needing to become anything more than what you already are. Your breath slows further, matching the rhythm of the night. Each inhale brings a sense of grounding, each exhale releases something unspoken, a tension you didn't realize you were holding, a thought that no longer needs to be carried. From somewhere deeper within the temple, the soft sound of chanting begins, low and steady, like the hum of the earth itself. It rises and falls gently, never too loud, never too forceful. It is not meant to awaken you, but rather to guide you inward, toward a place where words no longer matter, and only feeling remains. You do not join the chanting. You do not need to. Instead, you let it surround you, like a river flowing beside you as you sit upon its banks. It becomes part of the night, part of the silence, part of the gentle unfolding of this moment. Eventually, the chanting fades away, leaving behind only the quiet hum of the world sleeping beneath the stars. The monks return to their rooms, the lanterns flicker slightly in the breeze, and the temple settles into a deeper stillness, the kind that comes only when everyone has found their place, and everything is exactly as it should be. You rise slowly from your seat, careful not to disturb the peace that surrounds you. Your body feels lighter now, as if the weight of the day has been left behind on the wooden bench. You take a few slow steps forward, guided by the soft glow of the lantern near the entrance. The path leads you toward a small sleeping quarters nestled at the edge of the courtyard. The door slides open with a gentle creak, revealing a simple room, just enough space for a futon, a small window looking out toward the garden, and a wooden shelf holding a few scrolls. You step inside carefully, feeling the warmth of the tatami mats beneath your feet. You lower yourself onto the futon slowly, letting your body sink into its softness. The blanket is already pulled neatly over the mattress, and you pull it up around your shoulders, feeling its familiar weight settle over you like an old friend. Through the open window, you see the moon rising higher in the sky, casting a silver glow over the garden outside. The wind moves gently through the trees, causing the shadows to shift and dance across the ground in slow, graceful patterns. You close your eyes, letting the quiet of the night wrap around you like a warm embrace. There is no need to chase sleep, it will come naturally, as it always does when the mind is at ease and the heart is full. You hear the distant sound of a bell ringing softly in the distance, not to wake anyone, but to mark the passing of another hour. It is not urgent, not demanding. It is simply a reminder that time continues forward, even in places where it feels suspended. As you lie there, wrapped in the warmth of the blanket and the hush of the night, you feel a deep sense of gratitude for this place, for this moment, for the quiet beauty of simply being here. And as your breath slows further, and your thoughts begin to drift like clouds across the sky, you feel yourself slipping gently into sleep, not with resistance, not with struggle, but with ease, with grace, with peace. Part 4, On the Road to the Sea. The morning arrives quietly, as if it does not wish to disturb you. There is no sudden light, no sharp sound, only a gentle shift in the air, a soft deepening of breath, and the distant call of birds waking before the world does. You stir slowly beneath the blanket, feeling the warmth still wrapped around you like an old promise. You do not rush to rise. There is no need. The day unfolds at its own pace, unhurried and patient. You stretch your arms above your head, letting your fingers brush against the edge of the mat beneath you. Your body feels rested, grounded, ready, not for anything grand, but simply for the next step forward. Outside, the sky is painted in soft hues, pale golds, gentle pinks, the kind of colors that seem to appear only when the world is still learning how to wake up. A breeze moves through the open window, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and distant pine. It touches your skin lightly, like a whisper from somewhere far away. You sit up slowly, pressing your palms into the tatami mat beneath you. The floorboards creak softly under your movement, as if they too are stretching after a long night's rest. You take a moment to breathe, deeply, fully, letting the quiet morning settle into your chest. Then, with care, you rise to your feet and move toward the window. The garden outside stretches beneath the early light, its stones worn smooth by time, its moss dark and rich with moisture. A few drops of dew cling to the edges of the leaves, catching the sunlight in tiny glimmers. Everything feels fresh, untouched, full of possibility. You leave the sleeping quarters behind and step barefoot onto the cool surface of the courtyard. The monks are already moving about, their steps silent against the wooden walkways. Some sweep the paths, others carry bowls of rice or bundles of firewood. Their movements are slow, deliberate, not out of necessity, but out of respect for the rhythm of the day. You walk past them without speaking, and they greet you with small nods, quiet smiles. No words are needed here. Understanding passes between you in the way you move, in the way you breathe, and the shared knowledge that peace is not something you chase, it is something you allow yourself to feel. A kettle whistles softly near the kitchen entrance, releasing a thin stream of steam into the cool morning air. You make your way there and accept a small clay cup filled with warm tea. You hold it carefully between your hands, feeling its heat seep into your palms, and bring it to your lips. The taste is familiar, earthy, grounding, comforting, like the first step on a journey you have always known you would take. After finishing your tea, you return the cup to the tray and step back into the courtyard. The sun has risen higher now, casting longer shadows across the stone paths. A sense of calm settles over you, not because anything extraordinary has happened, but because everything ordinary feels just a little more beautiful today. You make your way toward the temple gate, where your sandals wait beside the threshold. You slide them onto your feet and step beyond the wooden pillars, leaving behind the quiet sanctuary of the temple grounds. The road ahead is narrow, winding gently through fields of tall grass and clusters of wildflowers swaying in the breeze. The path is well-worn, shaped by many footsteps before yours, yet it feels as though it was made just for you. You walk slowly, letting your gaze drift from one side of the road to the other. A fox watches you from the edge of the forest, its eyes dark and knowing, before slipping silently into the trees. A butterfly flutters past, its wings catching the light in soft bursts of color. The world continues around you, peaceful and unbothered. As you walk, the land begins to change. The hills grow gentler, the trees fewer, and soon you can smell something new in the air, a faint saltiness, carried on the wind like a whisper from somewhere far away. You follow the scent, letting it guide you forward. The road curves slightly to the left, then opens up to reveal a wide expanse of sky and sea stretching endlessly before you. The ocean lies calm and still, its surface broken only by the occasional ripple of wind moving across it. In the distance, waves roll gently toward the shore, breaking softly against the sand. You pause at the edge of the cliff, watching as the water moves with effortless grace. The sound is low and steady, not loud enough to startle, but clear enough to remind you that you are standing at the edge of something vast, something ancient, something that has been here long before you arrived and will remain long after you leave. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs with the crisp, salty air. It feels cleansing, refreshing, like stepping into a space where thoughts no longer weigh as heavily, where worries begin to dissolve into the wind. You begin walking again, descending slowly toward the shoreline. The path is uneven beneath your feet, lined with small stones and patches of dry grass. With each step, the scent of the sea grows stronger, wrapping around you like a familiar memory. When you reach the beach, the sand is cool beneath your feet, softened by the morning tide. You walk along the edge of the water, letting the waves lap gently against your ankles. Each wave comes and goes with quiet grace, never rushing, never forcing, simply moving as it was meant to. There is something deeply calming about being here, surrounded by nothing but sky and sea and silence. You feel smaller in this moment, not in a way that makes you feel lost, but in a way that reminds you that you are part of something much larger, something that does not demand anything from you, only asks that you be present. You find a flat rock near the water's edge and sit down, letting your hands rest lightly on your knees. The breeze brushes past your face, carrying with it the scent of salt and seaweed. You close your eyes and let yourself sink into the moment. The sound of the waves continues, steady and rhythmic, like the heartbeat of the world itself. You match your breathing to its pace, slowing, softening, releasing. And as the sun climbs higher in the sky, casting its golden light across the water, you remain here, not waiting for anything, not searching for anything. Just being. So we rest together, beneath the white sky, carried gently by the hush of the sea. You remain seated on the smooth rock, letting the rhythm of the waves settle into your chest. Each wave rolls forward with quiet grace, touching the sand before retreating again, as if it knows that everything has its time, to come close, and then to let go. You breathe in deeply, filling your lungs with the crisp salt air, and exhale slowly, releasing whatever tension might still be lingering in your body. The sun climbs higher now, casting a warm glow across the shoreline. Its light dances upon the water's surface in soft glimmers, like scattered pieces of glass catching the morning light. You watch them for a while, not trying to make sense of anything, simply allowing yourself to witness this moment as it unfolds. A few seagulls call out from above, their voices echoing gently against the cliffs behind you. They soar effortlessly through the sky, riding the wind currents with wings stretched wide. You follow their movements with your eyes, feeling a quiet admiration for the way they move, free, unhurried, trusting in the air beneath them. There is something peaceful about watching them. Not because they are doing anything extraordinary, but because they are exactly where they are meant to be. And somehow, that makes you feel the same way. You close your eyes again and listen. The sound of the sea fills your ears, steady, grounding, infinite. It does not demand your attention, nor does it try to distract you. Instead, it offers a space where you can simply be, without needing to do more, be more, or go more. Your breath slows further, matching the rhythm of the waves. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. exhale. And with each cycle, you feel yourself sinking deeper into stillness, not falling asleep, but slipping into a state of deep calm, where thoughts no longer pull at your mind and worries begin to dissolve into the breeze. From somewhere nearby, the sound of footsteps breaks through the hush, slow, deliberate, unhurried. You open your eyes just enough to see a figure walking along the edge of the water, carrying a small bundle wrapped in cloth. Their movements are gentle, careful, as if they too are moving in harmony with the rhythm of the sea. They pass by without speaking, offering only a slight nod in your direction. You return the gesture silently, not out of politeness, but out of recognition, a shared understanding that sometimes peace is not something we find alone, but something we share with others simply by being present. After they disappear beyond the curve of the beach, you turn your gaze back toward the horizon. The sea stretches endlessly before you, meeting the sky in a quiet embrace. There is no urgency here, no need to reach anywhere. Only the simple act of sitting, watching, breathing. You lean back slightly, resting your weight against the flat surface of the rock. The warmth of the sun presses gently against your skin, not hot, not harsh, just enough to remind you that you are alive, that you are here, that you are safe. A soft breeze brushes past your face, carrying with it the faint scent of seaweed and distant rain. You tilt your head slightly, letting it wrap around you like a quiet blessing. For a moment, you feel as though the world itself is breathing beside you, slow, steady, infinite. You stay like this for a while, not counting the minutes, not worrying about what comes next. Time feels different here, stretched out, softened, made gentle. And in this space, you feel something shift within you, not dramatically, not suddenly, but subtly, like the tide rolling in without making a sound. It is not happiness, exactly. Nor is it sadness. It is something quieter than both, a deep knowing that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you are exactly where you are meant to be. Eventually, you rise from the rock, brushing away the fine grains of sand that have settled onto your clothing. Your legs feel steady beneath you, grounded yet light, as if the sea has given you something unseen, a quiet strength, a gentle clarity, a deep sense of calm. You take one last look at the water before turning back toward the path. The journey ahead continues, not because you must keep moving, but because movement feels natural, even comforting. As you walk, the sand shifts beneath your feet, cool and soft, adjusting to each step you take. The wind moves with you, brushing lightly against your skin, guiding you forward without ever pushing. You do not rush. You do not hesitate. You simply walk, one step after another, in harmony with the rhythm of your own breath. The path leads you away from the shore, winding gently through patches of dry grass and clusters of wildflowers swaying in the breeze. In the distance, you see the outline of a small fishing village nestled between the hills and the sea. Smoke curls lazily from rooftops, and the faint sound of voices drifts through the air, not loud, not urgent, but full of life. You approach slowly, not with the intention of joining just yet, but simply to observe. Children run barefoot through the narrow streets, chasing each other with laughter that carries easily on the wind. An elderly woman sits outside her home, weaving something delicate with her hands. A man stands near the docks, watching his boat sway gently in the water, lost in thought. This place feels familiar, even if you have never been here before. It is not grand, not flashy, not filled with excitement, yet there is beauty in its simplicity, in the way life unfolds here without rushing, without demanding. You pause at the edge of the village, letting the sounds and scents settle into your senses. The salty breeze mixes with the earthy smell of wood smoke and the faint aroma of cooking rice. It is a scent that speaks of home, of belonging, of the quiet joy found in everyday moments. You do not speak. You do not announce your presence. Instead, you simply stand there, letting yourself be part of this place, however briefly. Then, with steady steps, you continue forward, not leaving anything behind, but carrying it all with you. So we walk together, step by step, deeper into the quiet beauty of this journey. Part 5, Evenings in the Small House of Yoshino. The road winds gently through the hills as you make your way toward Yoshino, a quiet village nestled among the trees and softened by time. The air here carries a different kind of stillness, not the hush of the temple or the vast openness of the sea, but something more intimate, more grounded. It is the kind of peace that comes from belonging to a place, even if only for a while. You walk slowly, letting your feet settle into the rhythm of the earth beneath you. The path is lined with tall grasses that sway gently in the breeze, their tips catching the afternoon light like whispers of gold. A few birds call out from the branches above, their voices light and unhurried, blending with the soft rustling of leaves. As you approach the village, the first thing you notice is the scent of wood smoke drifting through the air, warm, familiar, grounding. It wraps around you like an old memory, reminding you of evenings spent near a fire, wrapped in quiet conversation or deep thought. You breathe it in deeply, feeling it settle into your chest. Yoshino unfolds before you like a painting, low wooden homes with tiled roofs, narrow dirt paths winding between them, the occasional flicker of lantern light already glowing in preparation for the evening. There is no rush here. Life moves at its own pace, steady and calm. A small house waits at the edge of the village, half hidden beneath the shade of an old maple tree. Its wooden beams are worn with age, its shutters slightly weathered, yet it stands strong, simple, humble, welcoming. You step toward it slowly, feeling a sense of familiarity settle over you, as though this place has been waiting for you all along. You slide open the door carefully, listening to the soft creak of the wood as it yields to your touch. Inside, the space is modest, just enough room for a futon in one corner, a small writing desk beside the window, and a low table where meals will be shared in quiet solitude. The floorboards creak softly beneath your steps as you move inside, carrying with you the scent of pine and wind. You sit down near the window, letting your gaze drift toward the hills beyond. The sun is beginning its slow descent, casting long shadows across the land. In the distance, a stream winds its way through the valley, its surface catching the last rays of daylight in soft glimmers. You watch it for a while, not thinking, not planning, simply being. Outside, the wind moves gently through the trees, causing the leaves to flutter like pages turning in a book. You close your eyes and listen, letting the sound guide you deeper into stillness. There is no need to do anything else right now, only to rest, to breathe, to let the world carry you forward. Eventually, you rise again and begin preparing for the evening. You reach for a small kettle resting on a shelf and fill it with water from a nearby bucket. The fire pit in the center of the room holds a few embers still glowing from earlier, and you carefully coax them back to life with a few gentle puffs of breath. Soon, the flame dances quietly beneath the kettle, sending a soft warmth through the space. While the water heats, you gather a few simple ingredients: rice, miso paste, a handful of dried seaweed. You work slowly, deliberately, allowing yourself to be fully present in each movement. There is no hurry here. Everything unfolds as it should, without pressure, without expectation. When the tea is ready, you pour it into a clay cup and settle onto a cushion near the fire. You hold the cup between both hands, feeling its warmth seep into your palms, and bring it to your lips. The taste is earthy, soothing, like an old friend offering quiet comfort. You eat slowly, savoring each bite, letting the flavors linger on your tongue. Outside, the sky darkens further, painted in hues of lavender and deep indigo. Stars begin to appear, scattered like tiny lanterns across the vast darkness. A soft breeze brushes past the window, carrying with it the distant murmur of leaves swaying in the night. After finishing your meal, you clear the dishes gently and return them to their place. Then, you move to the writing desk by the window, where a scroll and brush wait patiently for your hand. You dip the brush into the ink and pause for a moment, letting your thoughts settle before placing it against the paper. There is no need to write anything grand today. No battle to recount, no lesson to teach, only the quiet act of reflection. You write about the journey, about the places you have passed through, about the moments that have stayed with you. Not for anyone else to read, but for yourself, to remember, to honor, to release. When you finish, you set the brush aside and lean back slightly, letting your gaze drift once more toward the hills. The night feels deep now, full of stillness and possibility. You close your eyes for a moment, breathing in slowly, exhaling with ease. A soft chime rings faintly in the distance, perhaps from a nearby shrine, perhaps carried on the wind itself. It does not wake you, nor does it demand your attention. Instead, it marks the passing of another hour, a quiet reminder that time continues forward, even in places where it feels suspended. You rise from your seat and move toward the futon, pulling the blanket up around your shoulders as you settle onto the mat. The fire in the pit burns low now, casting a warm glow that stretches gently across the room. You pull the blanket tighter around you, feeling its familiar weight settle over you like an old promise. Through the open window, you see the moon rising higher in the sky, casting a silver glow over the hills. The wind moves gently through the trees, causing the shadows to shift and dance across the ground in slow, graceful patterns. You close your eyes, letting the quiet of the night wrap around you like a warm embrace. There is no need to chase sleep, it will come naturally, as it always does when the mind is at ease and the heart is full. And as your breath slows further, and your thoughts begin to drift like clouds across the sky, you feel yourself slipping gently into rest, not with resistance, not with struggle, but with ease, with grace, with peace. Morning arrives like a quiet breath, not sudden, not forceful, but soft and steady. The light slips gently through the window, casting a pale glow across the wooden floor. You stir beneath the blanket, feeling its warmth still wrapped around you like an old promise. There is no rush to rise. No need to chase the day. It will unfold in its own time, just as it always does. You stretch slowly, your fingers brushing against the cool surface of the mat beneath you. The air inside the house carries the scent of wood smoke and something faintly sweet, perhaps the remnants of last night's tea or the lingering fragrance of dried herbs resting on the shelf nearby. You breathe it in deeply, letting it settle into your chest. Outside, the world stirs gently. A bird calls from somewhere in the distance, its voice light and unhurried. The wind moves softly through the trees, causing the leaves to whisper against each other like pages turning in an old book. Everything feels slow, grounded, peaceful. You sit up slowly, pressing your palms lightly into the tatami mat beneath you. Your body feels rested, steady, not heavy with sleep, but full of quiet energy, the kind that comes only after a night spent in deep rest. You take a moment to breathe, deeply, fully, letting the morning settle into your bones. Then, with care, you rise to your feet and move toward the window. The hills beyond are bathed in the golden light of early sun, their slopes softened by mist that clings to the ground like a gentle embrace. A few wisps of smoke curl lazily from rooftops in the village below, rising into the crisp morning air before disappearing into the sky. You slide open the shutters and let the breeze touch your skin. It is cool, fresh, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and distant pine. You close your eyes for a moment, allowing yourself to be fully present in this space, in this moment. There is no need to do anything grand today. Only what must be done, and even that can be done slowly, deliberately, with care. You step away from the window and begin preparing for the day. You gather a small clay cup from the shelf and fill it with water from a nearby jug. The first sip is cool against your lips, refreshing in a way that makes you feel more awake without demanding too much energy. You drink slowly, savoring the simplicity of this small act. Next, you reach for a bundle of firewood resting near the hearth and carefully arrange a few pieces into the pit. With practiced ease, you strike a flint and coax the flame to life. It flickers at first, uncertain, then settles into a quiet dance of warmth and light. You pour a kettle of water over the fire and wait as it begins to steam. While it warms, you gather a few simple ingredients: rice, miso paste, a handful of dried mushrooms. You work with slow, careful hands, not because you lack skill, but because there is no reason to hurry. Each movement is part of the rhythm of the morning, and each one deserves your full attention. When the tea is ready, you pour it into a second cup and carry both dishes to the low table near the window. You settle onto your cushion, folding your legs beneath you, and begin to eat with quiet appreciation. The flavors are familiar, earthy, grounding, comforting, like the kind of meal that reminds you that you are home, even if only for a while. Outside, the sun climbs higher now, casting longer shadows across the land. The mist begins to lift, revealing the contours of the hills in clearer detail. A fox watches you from the edge of the forest, its eyes dark and knowing, before slipping silently into the trees. After finishing your meal, you clear the dishes gently and return them to their place. Then, you reach for a small wooden bucket and step outside, making your way toward the stream that runs quietly behind the house. The path is lined with wildflowers swaying gently in the breeze, their colors muted but full of life. You follow the sound of flowing water until you reach the bank, where the current moves steadily over smooth stones. You kneel beside it, dipping your hands into the cool stream and bringing the water to your face. It is refreshing, grounding, a quiet ritual that helps you feel more connected to the world around you. You refill the bucket carefully and make your way back toward the house. Along the way, you pause near a small garden tucked beside the porch. A few rows of vegetables grow quietly in the soil: radishes, carrots, and greens that sway gently in the breeze. You crouch down and run your fingers lightly over the leaves, checking for signs of growth, for signs of life. A butterfly lands briefly on the edge of the bucket, resting for just a moment before fluttering away again. You watch it disappear into the sunlight, feeling a quiet sense of gratitude for the beauty found in these small moments. When you return to the house, you set the bucket down and begin tending to the few tasks that remain. You sweep the floor with slow, deliberate strokes, letting the motion become a kind of meditation. You tidy the writing desk, smoothing out the scroll you worked on the night before, running your fingers lightly over the inked words. There is peace in these actions, not because they are easy, but because they are meaningful in their own quiet way. They do not demand excitement, nor do they offer distraction. Instead, they remind you that life unfolds in small, steady moments, the kind that, when strung together, create something beautiful. Eventually, you settle onto the cushion once more, letting your gaze drift toward the hills beyond. The sun rests gently on their slopes, casting everything in a warm, golden glow. You close your eyes and listen, to the wind, to the rustling leaves, to the quiet hum of life unfolding all around you. And as the afternoon stretches out before you, soft and unhurried, you feel yourself sinking deeper into stillness, not falling asleep, but slipping into a state of deep calm, where thoughts no longer pull at your mind and worries begin to dissolve into the breeze. So we rest together, beneath the quiet sky, carried gently by the hush of the day. Part 6, Final Days on the Mountain Top. The road leading to the mountain is quiet now, not abandoned, but softened by time and distance. You walk slowly, your steps careful against the uneven path, each one carrying you further from the village below and deeper into the silence of the hills. The air here feels different, thinner, cooler, touched by something ancient that moves through the trees like a whisper only some can hear. You do not rush. There is no urgency in your movement, only a steady rhythm that matches the slow rise of the land beneath your feet. Around you, the world unfolds in layers. Tall grasses sway gently in the breeze, small birds flit between branches overhead, and somewhere far off, the sound of wind moving through hollow bamboo fills the space between thoughts. As you climb higher, the trees begin to change. The broad oaks and maples give way to slender pines, their needles carpeting the ground in soft layers of gold and green. The scent of resin rises with each step, mingling with the crispness of the morning air. You breathe it in deeply, feeling it settle into your chest like a quiet blessing. There are no signs marking the way, yet you know you are heading in the right direction. Not because someone told you, not because there is a clear path, but because something inside you recognizes this journey as familiar, even if it is the first time you have walked it. A few clouds drift lazily across the sky, casting shifting shadows over the landscape. The sun rests lightly on your back, warm but not demanding, just enough to remind you that you are alive, that you are moving forward, that you are safe. Eventually, the path narrows and begins to curve along the edge of a ridge. To your left, the land drops away into a deep valley, where a river winds its way through the forest like a silver thread. To your right, the mountain rises steadily, its slopes covered in dense growth and the occasional outcrop of stone worn smooth by time. You pause here for a moment, letting your gaze follow the river's path until it disappears into the horizon. There is peace in watching it move, not fast, not forceful, but with quiet grace. It does not resist the turns it must take, nor does it question the direction it must go. It simply flows, trusting in the shape of the land beneath it. You take a deep breath and exhale slowly, allowing yourself to sink into the stillness around you. There is no need to do anything else right now, only to be present, to listen, to feel. When you begin walking again, your steps feel lighter, as though the mountain itself has welcomed you. The path becomes steeper now, winding through patches of wildflowers that cling stubbornly to the rocky soil. Their colors are muted, soft purples, pale yellows, faded whites, yet they bloom with quiet determination, unnoticed by most, yet still beautiful. You reach out and brush your fingers against one of the petals, feeling its delicate texture beneath your touch. It does not seek to impress, nor does it ask for recognition. It simply exists, rooted in the earth, reaching for the sun in its own quiet way. And somehow, that feels like enough. The wind grows slightly stronger as you continue upward, brushing past your face like a gentle hand guiding you forward. You lean into it slightly, letting it carry you with ease. There is no struggle here, no resistance, only movement, steady and calm. In the distance, you see the outline of a small wooden structure nestled among the rocks, a simple shelter built long ago by those who once came here seeking solitude. Its roof is worn with age, its walls darkened by years of rain and wind, yet it stands strong, a quiet guardian of time and memory. You approach slowly, stepping carefully over the uneven ground. The door slides open with a soft creak, revealing a space that is modest yet welcoming. A futon rests in one corner, a small writing desk sits beside the window, and a low table holds a clay cup filled with tea that has long since gone cold. You step inside and let the door close behind you, sealing in the hush of the place. Dust floats gently in the sunlight streaming through the window, catching the light like tiny stars suspended in midair. You sit down near the desk, running your fingers lightly over the wood grain, feeling the weight of time resting quietly beneath your touch. This place has held many silences before yours. Some were filled with thought, others with prayer, and some with nothing at all, only the quiet hum of being. You reach for the cup and hold it between both hands, imagining the warmth it once carried. You do not drink from it. Instead, you let it serve as a reminder that you are not the first to rest here, and you will not be the last. Outside, the wind continues to move through the trees, carrying with it the distant call of a bird circling above. You close your eyes and listen, letting the sound guide you deeper inward, toward a place where words no longer matter, and only feeling remains. Your breath slows further, matching the rhythm of the mountain. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And as the afternoon stretches out before you, soft and unhurried, you feel yourself sinking deeper into stillness, not falling asleep, but slipping into a state of deep calm, where thoughts no longer pull at your mind and worries begin to dissolve into the breeze. So we rest together, beneath the quiet sky, carried gently by the hush of the mountain. You remain seated in the quiet space of the shelter, letting the hush settle deeper into your chest. The sunlight streaming through the window has shifted slightly, casting longer shadows across the wooden floor. Dust still floats gently in the air, catching the light like tiny lanterns drifting through time. There is no rush here. No need to move forward or look back. Only the present moment, stretched out and softened, like a long evening bath warming your body from the inside out. Outside, the wind moves steadily through the trees, its rhythm slow and deliberate. It does not push you forward, nor does it ask you to stay. It simply flows, as if reminding you that movement and stillness are not opposites, they are companions on the same path. You lean back slightly against the wall, letting your gaze drift toward the mountains beyond. The peaks rise gently into the sky, their surfaces worn smooth by years of rain and wind. In the distance, clouds gather lazily, moving with a grace that feels almost sacred. You close your eyes and listen. The occasional rustle of leaves, the faint call of a bird circling above, the soft creaking of wood adjusting to the cooling air, all of it blends together into a quiet symphony of peace. It does not demand your attention, nor does it try to entertain you. Instead, it offers a space where you can simply be, without expectation, without effort, without needing to become anything more than what you already are. Your breath slows further, matching the rhythm of the mountain. Each inhale brings a sense of grounding, each exhale releases something unspoken, a thought that no longer needs to be carried, a memory that no longer needs to be held. From somewhere deep within the forest, the sound of a distant bell rings softly, not loud enough to startle, but clear enough to remind you that time continues forward, even in places where it feels suspended. You do not open your eyes. Instead, you let the sound wrap around you like a quiet blessing. And as the afternoon stretches into evening, the light begins to change. The golden glow of the sun fades slowly into hues of amber and rose, painting the world in colors that feel both familiar and distant. A soft breeze brushes past the window, carrying with it the scent of pine and moss, a quiet reminder that nature is still awake, even as the world slows down. You do not reach for anything. There is no need. Everything you need is already here: the warmth of the shelter, the hush of the mountain, the steady rhythm of your own breath. Eventually, you rise slowly from your seat, careful not to disturb the stillness around you. Your legs feel steady beneath you, grounded yet light, as if the mountain has given you something unseen, a quiet strength, a gentle clarity, a deep sense of calm. You move toward the window and look out once more, watching as the last rays of sunlight slip behind the hills, casting everything in a soft twilight. The stars begin to appear, small pinpricks of light scattered across the vast darkness. A lantern flickers to life near the entrance of the shelter, casting a warm glow that stretches gently across the wooden floor. You return to your cushion and settle back into place, pulling the blanket around your shoulders. The fabric is worn but comforting, its weight familiar against your skin. You close your eyes again, letting the quiet of the night wrap around you like a warm embrace. There is no need to chase sleep. It will come naturally, as it always does when the mind is at ease and the heart is full. And as your breath slows further, and your thoughts begin to drift like clouds across the sky, you feel yourself slipping gently into rest, not with resistance, not with struggle, but with ease, with grace, with peace. So we rest together, beneath the quiet sky, carried gently by the hush of the mountain. The days pass quietly now, one blending gently into the next. You no longer measure time by hours or tasks, but by the way the light falls across the floor in the morning, by the scent of rain before it arrives, by the way the wind moves through the trees like a whispered song. You wake when the sun rises, stretch beneath the blanket, and step outside to breathe in the crisp morning air. The world greets you with silence, not empty, not lonely, but full of presence. You move through it with care, touching the bark of trees, listening to the stream that runs quietly behind the shelter, watching the way the mist clings to the ground like a soft veil. There is no urgency here. No need to go anywhere, no need to do anything in particular. Life unfolds in small, quiet moments, the way the fire crackles softly in the hearth, the way tea warms your hands before you drink it, the way the stars return each night like old friends offering quiet company. You spend your mornings sitting by the window, watching the light shift across the landscape. Sometimes you write, not with purpose, not with plan, but simply because the words come, slow and soft, like leaves drifting downward in autumn. You write about the journey, about the people you have met, about the places that have shaped you. Not for anyone else to read, but for yourself, to remember, to honor, to release. Afternoons bring a different kind of stillness. You walk along the ridge, following the curve of the land as it rises and falls. You sit beneath the shade of an old pine, listening to the wind move through its branches. You watch the clouds roll slowly across the sky, never rushing, always finding their way forward. Evenings arrive with quiet grace. You light a candle beside your futon, feeling its glow stretch gently across the room. You pull the blanket tighter around your shoulders, breathing in deeply, exhaling slowly. And as the night deepens around you, wrapping the mountain in a hush that feels almost sacred, you feel a deep sense of gratitude, not for grand things, not for achievements or accomplishments, but for this quiet evening, this peaceful place, this life you are living now. So we rest together, beneath the stars, carried gently by the hush of the night. Part 7, when the light fades completely. The morning comes quietly, not with a sudden burst of light, but with a slow unfolding of stillness. You wake to silence, not the kind that feels empty, but the kind that holds you gently, like a hand resting lightly against your back. The air inside the shelter is cool, carrying with it the scent of pine and wood smoke, familiar and grounding. You do not rush to rise. There is no need. Time has slowed even further now, stretching out in long, quiet moments that feel almost infinite. You stretch slowly beneath the blanket, feeling its weight settle over you like an old promise. Your breath moves steadily in and out, deep and unhurried. Outside, the world stirs gently. A bird calls from somewhere far off, its voice light and unhurried, blending with the soft rustling of leaves in the breeze. You close your eyes again for a moment, letting the sound guide you deeper into stillness. There is nothing to chase here, nothing to find, only the simple act of being. Eventually, you rise from the futon, moving carefully, as if the space around you asks for reverence. Your feet press lightly against the wooden floor, and the house creaks softly beneath your movement, as though it too is waking up after a long night's rest. You walk toward the window and slide open the shutters just enough to let the morning light spill inside. The sky is pale with the first hints of dawn, painted in soft hues of lavender and rose. In the distance, the mountain stretches outward, its slopes bathed in a quiet glow that seems almost sacred. Mist clings to the ground, drifting lazily between the trees like whispered memories carried on the wind. You sit near the window, letting the cool air touch your skin. There is no rush today. No tasks waiting to be completed, no voices calling your name, no places demanding your presence. Only this, the quiet hum of life unfolding gently around you. A kettle rests nearby, half filled with water from yesterday. You reach for it carefully, then pour its contents into a small clay cup. The tea inside has long since gone cold, but you hold it anyway, cradling its weight between both hands. It does not need to warm you, instead, it serves as a reminder that you are still here, still present, still breathing. You take a slow sip, letting the taste settle on your tongue. Earthy, grounding, familiar, like the kind of comfort that does not come from excitement or achievement, but from simply existing in harmony with the world around you. Outside, the wind moves gently through the trees, causing the leaves to flutter like pages turning in an old book. You watch them for a while, not trying to make sense of anything, simply allowing yourself to witness this moment as it unfolds. There is peace in watching. Not because it offers distraction, but because it invites stillness, the kind that settles deep into your bones, softening the edges of thought, releasing the tension you didn't realize you were holding. You remain like this for a while, not thinking, not planning, not wishing for anything to be different. Just being. Eventually, you rise again and begin preparing for the day, though day feels like an abstract concept now. Time no longer moves in straight lines. It flows in circles, in gentle spirals, in moments that blend seamlessly into one another. You gather a few simple ingredients, rice, miso paste, a handful of dried mushrooms, and set about making breakfast. Your movements are slow, deliberate, each one filled with quiet intention. There is no hurry here. Each action deserves your full attention, not because they are difficult, but because they are meaningful in their own way. When the meal is ready, you carry it to the low table and settle onto your cushion. You eat slowly, savoring each bite, letting the flavors linger on your tongue. Outside, the sun climbs higher now, casting longer shadows across the land. The mist begins to lift, revealing the contours of the hills in clearer detail. A fox watches you from the edge of the forest, its eyes dark and knowing, before slipping silently into the trees. You do not speak. You do not move. You simply watch, letting the moment settle into your chest like a memory you will carry with you. After finishing your meal, You clear the dishes gently and return them to their place. Then, you reach for a small brush and inkstone resting near the writing desk. You dip the brush carefully into the ink and pause for a moment, letting your thoughts settle before placing it against the paper. There is no need to write anything grand today. No battle to recount, no lesson to teach, only the quiet act of reflection. You write about the journey, about the people you have met, about the places that have shaped you. Not for anyone else to read, but for yourself, to remember, to honor, to release. When you finish, you set the brush aside and lean back slightly, letting your gaze drift once more toward the hills. The sky is brighter now, painted in soft blues and golds. The wind moves gently through the trees, causing the shadows to shift and dance across the ground in slow, graceful patterns. You close your eyes, letting the quiet of the morning wrap around you like a warm embrace. There is no need to chase sleep, it will come naturally, as it always does when the mind is at ease and the heart is full. And as your breath slows further, and your thoughts begin to drift like clouds across the sky, you feel yourself slipping gently into stillness, not with resistance, not with struggle, but with ease, with grace, with peace. So we rest together, beneath the quiet sky, carried gently by the hush of the morning. The day unfolds like a quiet breath, not sudden, not forceful, but soft and steady. You move through it with care, your steps slow, your thoughts even slower. There is no need to chase anything now. Everything arrives in its own time, just as it always has. You walk along the ridge once more, following the curve of the land as it rises and falls. The wind moves gently through the trees, carrying with it the scent of pine and moss, familiar, grounding, comforting. You close your eyes for a moment and breathe it in deeply, letting it settle into your chest like an old promise. There is peace in this place, not because it is perfect, not because it is untouched by time, but because it allows you to be exactly as you are. No expectations, no demands, no urgency. Just the simple act of walking, breathing, being. You find a flat rock near the edge of the mountain and sit down, letting your hands rest lightly on your knees. The sky stretches endlessly above you, painted in soft hues of blue and gold. A few clouds drift lazily across it, moving without direction, without purpose, simply floating, simply existing. You watch them for a while, not thinking, not planning, not wishing for anything to be different. Just watching. Your breath slows further, matching the rhythm of the sky. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And with each cycle, you feel yourself sinking deeper into stillness, not falling asleep, but slipping into a state of deep calm, where thoughts no longer pull at your mind and worries begin to dissolve into the breeze. From somewhere far off, the sound of a distant bell rings softly, not loud enough to startle, but clear enough to remind you that time continues forward, even in places where it feels suspended. You do not open your eyes. Instead, you let the sound wrap around you like a quiet blessing. Eventually, you rise from the rock and continue walking, not toward anything in particular, but simply because movement feels natural, even comforting. The path leads you back toward the shelter, winding gently through patches of wildflowers swaying in the breeze. Their colors are muted, soft purples, pale yellows, faded whites, yet they bloom with quiet determination, unnoticed by most, yet still beautiful. You reach out and brush your fingers against one of the petals, feeling its delicate texture beneath your touch. It does not seek to impress, nor does it ask for recognition. It simply exists, rooted in the earth, reaching for the sun in its own quiet way. And somehow, that feels like enough. When you return to the shelter, the afternoon light spills gently through the window, casting soft patterns across the wooden floor. Dust floats lazily in the air, catching the light like tiny lanterns drifting through time. You step inside carefully, letting the door slide shut behind you with a soft creak. You settle onto the cushion once more, pulling the blanket around your shoulders. The fabric is worn but comforting, its weight familiar against your skin. You close your eyes again, letting the quiet of the space wrap around you like a warm embrace. Outside, the wind continues to move through the trees, causing the leaves to whisper against each other like pages turning in an old book. You listen to them for a while, letting their sound guide you deeper inward, toward a place where words no longer matter, and only feeling remains. Your breath slows further, matching the rhythm of the mountain. Each inhale brings a sense of grounding, each exhale releases something unspoken, a thought that no longer needs to be carried, a memory that no longer needs to be held. And as the afternoon stretches into evening, the light begins to change. The golden glow of the sun fades slowly into hues of amber and rose, painting the world in colors that feel both familiar and distant. A soft breeze brushes past the window, carrying with it the scent of pine and moss, a quiet reminder that nature is still awake, even as the world slows down. You do not reach for anything. There is no need. Everything you need is already here, the warmth of the shelter, the hush of the mountain, the steady rhythm of your own breath. Eventually, darkness settles over the land, soft and unhurried. The stars begin to appear, scattered like tiny lanterns across the vast darkness. A lantern flickers to life near the entrance of the shelter, casting a warm glow that stretches gently across the room. You remain seated, not moving, not speaking. There is no need. The night holds you gently, like a hand resting lightly against your back. And then, something shifts, not suddenly, not dramatically, but subtly, like the tide rolling in without making a sound. You feel lighter now, as if something within you has softened, settled, released. Not with sadness, not with fear, but with ease, with grace, with peace. Your breath slows further, becoming quieter, gentler. Your body feels heavier now, grounded, still. And as the night deepens around you, wrapping the mountain in a hush that feels almost sacred, you feel a deep sense of gratitude, not for grand things, not for achievements or accomplishments, but for this quiet evening, this peaceful place, this life you have lived. So we rest together, beneath the quiet sky, carried gently by the hush of the night. And as the final breath slips quietly from your lips, like a leaf drifting downward in autumn, the world around you remains, unchanged, undisturbed, eternal. The fire in the hearth burns low, then fades into embers. The wind moves gently through the trees, whispering secrets only some can hear. The stars shine on, indifferent yet gentle, watching over the mountain as they always have. And somewhere far below, in the village of Yoshino, a monk lights a stick of incense before a small altar, bowing his head in silent remembrance. The story ends here, not with fanfare, not with drama, not with sorrow, but with stillness. And you, dear listener, are invited to stay here a little longer, in this quiet world, in this gentle dream, in this space where peace is not something you chase, but something you allow yourself to feel. So we rest together, beneath the stars, carried gently by the hush of the night.